Welcome to the Circle of M podcast. I am your host, Marcus Smith II. We have another edition episode again, man. We are doing great things with this mental health journey, especially my mental health journey. I got my good guy, Dondre Eccles, with me, co-host in the building. But, man, we got a good friend, somebody that I've been talking to for a very long time, man, who does meditation work. He's former running back for Georgia Tech, also the Baltimore Ravens. I have my good guy with me, Prince Daniel Jr., man. What's up, bro? How are you doing today?
Man, I'm amazing. As always, man, I'm enjoying every single possibility in life, man, and I'm living into it. So I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you having me.
Man, I appreciate you for coming on because right now what I just said on IG is that we are in a mental health crisis right now. And the things that are going on in the world, we had 2020 where we had the pandemic. We had, still things happening in 2021 from the pandemic. So I just feel like it's definitely still a need to continue to speak these conversations and to continue to talk about the things that we may be going through, man. And I wanted to really just start off with, where you started and how, your injury and the things that have happened to you playing the game of football kind of like derailed you into where you are today. So I wanted you to, share a little bit of your story as far as, how you started your football journey.
Man, so I started my football journey I played a little bit in Little League. Little League. I played like 1 year in Little League. And then I didn't play again until my 8th grade year in middle school and then high school. So I skipped a lot of years in between. And from there, I went from Little League on to high school. And then from high school, I was highly recruited, man. And I didn't end up getting a scholarship because I didn't do well on the ACT, SAT. And after that, luckily, one of the coaches from Georgia Tech, they were coming to recruit another player of ours, a defensive player. And my coach told him about me, just like, man, this dude is a diamond in the rough. He fell under the radar just because he didn't do well on the SAT or the standardized test, ACT. And, Georgia Tech took a look at me. So I did an unofficial visit. And after the unofficial visit, they were like, well, you can walk on to the team. So they said you have to get accepted into Georgia Tech. Luckily my grades were good. I had a 3.4 GPA. And so I was able to get into Georgia Tech, with my grades. So I was a student first, and then I became an athlete second. So walked on to G-Tech, was number 7 on the depth chart, had to work my way up. I had to outwork everybody.
Time out. You said you was number 7 on the depth chart, right?
Yeah,
and I want to deviate a little bit too, like just from what you told me a little bit, right?
Yeah.
First off, in the communities we come from, in the black communities that we come from, did you notice early on anything about your uphill battle to succeed and how you were always the underdog or you always had to go the long route to get where you wanted to be? Did you notice any mental health barrier at that point in time back then?
Not as much. Because my father, he came from another country, so from Ghana, Africa. And so a lot of the mental issues that a lot of the black Americans would deal with, I kind of bypassed that because it wasn't passed on from my dad's DNA onto me. And so, but I did have, there was a lot of moments in my life where I was like, what does that mean? Or why did somebody do that? I don't get it. That didn't make sense to me. When I've seen how it affected my friends, but it never really affected me in that manner. It did just a little bit, but I was always naive to it. And I always had a focus and a mentality, because my dad would always drill into me, like, education first, right? And, and so he always taught me his little disciplined ways, man, which were, like, phenomenal. And I'm just grateful for him.
I don't want to cut you off, but I want to ask, What was the reason that you didn't play in those in-between years while you were a kid? You said you only played maybe 1 or 2 years. Why was it that short and
Yeah,
then you reverted back to it?
uh, you know, I don't know. My parents just wanted to get me involved in something else. It wasn't until so my seventh grade year, it was the tryouts for the football team during middle school. Uh, my sister was graduating from military school, and so I chose to go see her graduate, and I didn't play that year. Then the next year, I think I was able to catch the last day for tryouts, and so they just allowed me to play on like the B team, and I didn't really play. And then I got to high school, and I was just like, yeah, I'm about to be the starter. That's what I said as a freshman, you know. And then from there, I was like, my name is. I didn't even say my name. I just stood up because everybody had to stand up and say their name and the position that they play. I just stood up. I was just like, yeah, I'm about to be on varsity. You know, I just had it in me. You know, the one thing that made me really want to play football was I saw Barry Sanders. He scored a touchdown. He did a juke move one day. I was watching it. I was watching it with my mom, and I remember he scored a touchdown. He did a move. He did a spin move and scored a touchdown. They was playing against the Houston Oilers, and I just looked at my mom and I had tears in my eyes. And I was just like, I'm gonna play in the NFL, Mom. And she's like, baby, I believe you. And from that day on, that was just in my head. Like you know. So I would go outside and play, you know, football on the concrete with my brothers and my cousins and my friends. And you know, just that two-hand touch. But you know, you playing football on the concrete, not even care if you're gonna fall and scar yourself up. But you know, that's what that's how I developed, you know, my skills, man. But yeah, playing somewhere in between, I just my parents, they wanted to get me involved in other sports.
At that time, when you told your mom that's what you were going to do, did you look at it as this is a must happen? Like you didn't see yourself doing anything else?
No, I didn't. You know, like that was a very authentic moment and very emotional moment for me. So like when a kid has those tears in their eyes and they really feel it, you know, because usually as a kid your
I
emotions
mean,
or your feelings are not tainted.
you know
And
it
so
too,
that was a
man.
real moment.
You
Like,
know
you
it.
just know it.
Yeah.
It was like I was in my reality where my dream and my reality were merged, and I just knew that I was going to play in the NFL. It was no one else could tell me anything different, you know. So
Man.
I always had that mindset, and I stayed focused no matter what. Like I was just always, you know, going to get stronger, going to
Yeah.
get mentally stronger, you know, than all my peers. You know, because when I was growing up, that's it. When I was growing up, you know, I grew up in Houston, so Southwest Ely, Texas. Shout out to everybody in the SWAT,
Shout
you
out.
know, and so shout out, right? That's that West. So you know, growing up, you know, so they had gangs, drugs, just everything, right? And so, uh, uh, like my cousins and my friends, they was out there gang banging and selling drugs. I didn't even know, you know, because everybody was always protecting me. They you know, they never brought those problems to me because they always knew I was in the gym early in the morning, not working out, you know, and after practice working out, you know, just showing them what it's like to be great, just showing them what it's
Man.
like to put
Hard
that work
work.
in. And
So you
that's it,
building
man. And so I just stayed focused on that.
so you building throughout this whole process, you building your confidence and you letting people know like I'm here to stay and this is what I'm gonna do, man. And for the people out there listening, man, go with us as we continue on this journey with Prince, as we, you know, dissect him and what, you know, his life was and how we can continue to talk about the mental health world. And what I really wanted to talk about too, man, is because you went to Georgia Tech, you was a running back at Georgia Tech, but
Right.
you was a walk on. So we getting back there, man. Talk about like how your confidence drove you to become the starter, and then eventually get drafted into the NFL, man. Let's go there.
Yeah, man. I'll start off by saying that I had this insatiable drive. As I told you as a kid, I said that I was going to do this. And so when your heart and your mind connect to something that you project in the future, you're going to always stay on that track. And so, when I came into G Tech, I'd already made a promise to myself that since I had all these scholarship offers coming out of high school, but they had to rescind and take back their scholarships. I had a chip on my shoulder. I was mad. I was just like, dang, because if you can only imagine, I even turned down the scholarship. So during signing day, I was one of the top running backs at my school in Texas as well. And I didn't sign with nobody. So that emotionally, I was just like, man.
But Georgia Tech, that's not,
embarrassed.
Georgia Tech is still a good school now.
school.
Like, that's like,
I didn't even know what Georgia Tech was, man. So when I get there, I'm like, okay, this is the state of Atlanta. And I was just like, no, it's the city of Atlanta. I was like, oh, okay, okay, Georgia. I didn't know anything. So, get there, still very sheltered, but I wanted to get there and do my thing. And so I got there, and I was a small fish in a big pond, should I say big ocean. I didn't know what I was doing. I just know that I was going to play, and I know that I was going to get good grades, right? And so I said I made sure that I was going to do these two things. And when I got there, man, I wasn't treated like how all other scholarship players were treated, and I realized that real quick. And so from that point on, I knew that I had to work, and I was working, but when it comes to moving my way up the ladder, man, if you ever seen, I haven't even seen the whole series or documentary series, but it's the Last Dance with Michael Jordan. It was I had a moment where one of my coaches, I like to say his name, Bill O'Brien, and I guess most, all my teammates say he has a way of motivating his players. I didn't see that as motivating. I saw it as condescending and berating, but he definitely told me that I sucked and that I wouldn't play at Georgia Tech, and my chances of playing at Georgia Tech are 1 in a million, and my chances of playing in the NFL are 1 in a billion. Shout outs to Bill O'Brien for that. So so that fueled me, man. That fueled me like crazy. All right, because even in practice, I would only get like 1 rep at the end of practice, and then they'd blow the whistle, and that was it. And so, I was trying to score a touchdown just for that one play that I was in at the end of practice. Again,
You was trying to make everyone count. Every chance you got, you was trying to make it count.
That's it, man. That's it. Whether I was on scout team, it didn't matter. I just wanted to get on that field.
And this is early. This is your freshman year? This is your freshman year, sophomore year? This early. Okay.
Yep. Freshman year, and then redshirt freshman year. So those first 2 developmental years, I was grinding. And my coach told me that I sucked. And from that point on, I was just like, okay, I suck. I was like, okay, I suck. And so, after the meeting, I was on the verge of crying because I was trying to ask, like, why would I do? What I do to be treated like this? Why is this grown man talking to a 19-year-old like this, saying, you're not my favorite, you suck, you this? He was just berating me, and I just remember sitting there, and I wanted to get up and Latrell Sprewell him, but I had some angels with me that day, and so I did. So I didn't choke him out, but I felt the need to, but I'm glad I didn't, and I channeled that energy, that anger, into making myself an incredible football player. So that same day, I took a moment. I sat outside at the bus stop. It was spring. It was right after the spring game, so it was spring break. There wasn't that many people on campus, and I was waiting for the bus stop. The bus took a little bit longer than usual, and the bus didn't even come. And so, man, I just, tear came out my face, and I stood up. I was like, nah, this is my dream. I ain't let nobody take my dream away from me. Like, it's my dream. I see my dream, And I said, I'm going to be playing at Tech. So I strapped on my backpack, I tightened it up, and I took off running to the other side of campus. That's about like 1.2 miles, 1.3 miles. On the other side of campus, I didn't stop. I was crying the whole way. I went upstairs, put my workout clothes on, took my backpack off, and went outside. And we had a volleyball sand pit outside from the 1996 Olympics. And man, I just started running drills, just running. I did that for the next 3 hours.
Man.
I passed out, and then from there, I got up, I went upstairs. Ate some pizza. I was supposed to do my work. I didn't do my work. I woke up.
Hey, you
the
being
next
real
day.
though. That's the funny part. You being real.
Man, I woke up the next day. We had workouts. I ran to the other side of campus for workouts. I did this for the next 3 months. My teammates would just be driving by. They'd be like, "P, get in the car." I'd be like, "I'm good, man. I'll see y'all at the gym." I never got in the car. I was so driven. I was so angry. I was like, this mother don't even know who the guy I am. Like, you keep messing my heart. You don't even know what I do. Like, who you think you talking to, man?
Yeah.
I was in it to win it. And so from that drive just allowed for me to just do some incredible things, man. And so I became a leader, and I led from the back. And then I became a leader. That's how I moved from 7th spot to the number 1 spot. And everybody believed in me, man, because I just knew how to make things happen. That's all. I just knew how to have a focus so intense that nobody could stop me. I used to go around campus with a football in my hand, doing moves everywhere, and people, my teammates come and try to slap it out my hands, I'm gripping it and grabbing it. I just knew that I was going to be the starter running back at G Tech, man. So I act like.
But see, you were laser focused too, man, and you knew exactly what you wanted. Like you said, you like, man, this is my dream. And for the young kids and people that's listening, like when you have a dream and you want it to manifest, you got to put in the work in order for it to manifest. But God is going to put you in an arena where you could be successful, but it's up to you to make sure that thing happens the way you want it to happen. Then you talk about you end up becoming a leader. Now you're a leader on a team that it was dang near quote unquote impossible to do, but you did the impossible, right? And now pushing forward, you become this player, and now you have the NFL in your sights. Let's talk about that part of you getting to the NFL. Now you are where you want to be, and now you can tell your mom, hey, I did it. Like, I told you I was going to do it. And now this is where you are. So let's talk about that experience and you being able to get to the highest pinnacle of your sport.
Cool, man. So I got drafted to the NFL in 2006 with the Baltimore Ravens, 132nd pick. That was 4th round. And, man, I was elated, man, but at the same time, I was still like, man, I should have been 1st round.
Yeah. That confidence, that mentality, yeah, man.
Right, exactly, man. So, man, it was amazing just to actually see myself come across the screen, ESPN. I was just like, oh, that's me. I was like, oh, this is crazy, right? So, and I was in New York at the time as well, because my boy Vince Young, he and I had the same agent. So I was there too, just getting the experience. And so get drafted by the Ravens, man, and it's like I'm like, man, I don't care. I'm about to show y'all what you have. You got a gym, and nobody can outwork me. Like when I say I'm laser focused, I'm laser focused. So I get there, I'm around legends, and like Ray Lewis, Jonathan Ogden, Bart Scott, Kelly Gregg, Haloti Ngata,
Ed Reed,
Chris McAllister, Samara Rowe, Ed Reed, Suggs,
some goats.
So the defense, the goats. So the defense is just solid. I'm like, God, dog. Then we got Derek Mason on offense, Mark Clayton. We got my cousin Steve McNair. We got Todd Heap. We got Daniel.
Bro, they had a squad, bro.
Oh, man. Man, we had Jamal Lewis at running back. We had
Jamal Lewis, yeah.
Musa
Jamal
Smith.
Lewis.
Oh man, we had Michael Anderson, running back from Denver.
Ogden. What's that lineman name?
Yeah. Jonathan Ogden. I mean, we were solid. And so, we were stacked, man. We were stacked. And so I was just looking around in awe, like, God, dog, these is individuals. So, my thing was just taking little parts from each individual and adding it to my character, my arsenal, and my play. And one of the things that I used to watch was Jonathan Ogden. He used to sit down and read books. And, while everybody else would probably be playing craps, playing video games, just kind of doing their thing, right? But I was seeing Jonathan Ogden just reading books. And for me, I was like, oh, man, that's it right there, because he's focusing his mind. He's keeping his mind focused on what he has to do. And so that was one of the first things that I gravitated to when I got there. Then I just started, learning about the offense, trying to do my best to learn about the offense, but just staying in it, just staying, like getting involved, and I started gradually progressing. I definitely thought with the running back crew that we had with Musa Smith, Mike Anderson, Jamal Lewis, and Corey Ross, I was just like, man, I don't know where I'm going to be at, So I knew that I was going to put myself behind the veterans and then work my way up. But Coach Brian Billick, he was just like, our number 2 running back could be P.J. Daniels. If he keeps his head in the game and learns vicariously through the other players. I was like, what, for real? I was like, you think I'm gonna be number 2? I was like, okay, I'm gonna be number 2. Because at that time I was like, it's early on. But what happened my rookie year during the preseason game, we played against the Giants, and I fumbled twice during the game. And man, that just messed me up. I didn't have the right pads. I didn't know that you could bring all your stuff from college to the NFL. I didn't know about my pads and my helmet. I didn't know. I didn't know what I could do. I didn't know what privileges I had. So I fumbled twice in the preseason game, man, and that just tore me up. I remember Brian Billick. I was trying to run off the sideline to the way down to the corner, and he was in stride. As I was jogging, he was in stride, and he pulled me. I mean, as I was trying to get off to the sideline, he was just like, "What the F are you doing, P? You're effing up my money and you effing up your money. Get your together." I was like, "Oh man!"
But see, people don't understand when it comes to football how imperative it is, like when we talk about turnovers and fumbling the ball and what that does to the running back's confidence. Like, you have to rebuild your confidence back after you fumble, because in nature, like I don't think there's any running back has not went their career without fumbling. It's it's the nature of the game. So man, I mean, people understand that, but I want to go to like how when you was pushing forward to, become the person that you wanted to become, you talked a little bit about before that you had a career-ending injury, right? Yeah. And you lost many things, but most importantly, you said that you lost yourself, right? Yeah. You lost your identity, because if you've been with us on this journey as we've been talking, is football is us. Is what we always wanted to do, and that's what we strive to do, man. I want you to talk a little bit about how your season-ending injury took you down this spiral, and you had to see that you lost yourself, but then find yourself again with what you're doing now, man.
Yeah, man. So as I'm progressing in the league, I started putting in more and more work. I started seeing the change. I started seeing how, I went from running a 4.5 to a 4.2. I started working on my hips. I started working on my body. I started working on my core. I started working on my hands. So they started moving me from running back to wide receiver, to a little bit of H-back coming out the backfield, catching. Man, I just started picking up on things, man. My teammates would give me like little nuggets and tell me like, "Oh, you winning, man. You doing really good. You progressing."
Man,
I had to meet Ray Lewis in the hole, and I went in and I blocked him. Boom, hit him, and he grabbed me. He just slung me, and I was like, man. And my teammates was just like, "Good job." I was like, "Good job." I was like, "He just slung me." They was just like, "Did he get the quarterback?" I was like, "No." They was like, "Then you did your job." I was like, oh, that's how this thing works.
Yeah.
You don't have to go in every time and knock people out. So I'm progressing, and not just progressing, but my speed improved, and then my mental capacity improved. And then after that, you could see it in practice. Everybody was just like, how you get good like this, man? So as I'm progressing, they're just like, your role is getting bigger. You're going to end up playing. You're going to be our golden child. I
So
was just under the radar.
your confidence
Ready.
at this time is like super high. Your confidence is crazy. Like it's about to
Man,
happen again.
I
Like,
was-
I'm making it happen.
Dog, I was like Lamar Jackson. I had supreme confidence. Nothing
He was
stopped
the
me.
man. Huh?
Nothing could stop me. Nothing. Like I had developed so much. Like I was like, oh wow, this is what it feels like to be supreme.
So once you
because
get Supreme,
you can just feel it. Go ahead.
once you get Supreme, and then this injury happens, what's going on? What's going on through your head at this point in time? What are you thinking?
Like what's going on? Get back out there. Like you can't be hurt. You ain't hurt. No. Like let's go, P. Let's go. Like, but I couldn't function. Like the pain it just kept getting to me. Like I couldn't jog without. I tore my labrum, and I couldn't jog without my without my labrum. Me feeling the pain. And I was just like, come on, what's going on? I was like,
Everything
how do I
is
get this stuff
happening the
away?
way I want it to. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, like it was like a portal that opened for me. And as soon as I get to the portal, it closes. I'm like, I see an oasis on the other side of the portal.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get to the portal, and I'm like, and it closes up. I'm like, wait.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Look,
It's like, why this happening
this
to
contract
me?
year.
Yeah.
Why this happening to me?
this
I was
happening
like,
to me?
why, God? What did I do? Like here we go. And so in college, if you notice from my story, I was loving on myself more. I was just like, like ain't nobody gonna stop me. In the NFL, I started beating up myself more. I started beating up on myself more. And
You're feeling low. You're
I'm
feeling
pretty
low.
sure. Yeah, I'm like, man, like, I've been my rookie year. I didn't play because that was a developmental year. My next year, I sprain my hamstring or tear my hamstring at the beginning of the season, like the third preseason into the third preseason of the season, third preseason game, and then my third year I tear my labrum. So I'm like, man, I can't even contribute. You already know how the other players are acting. They like, oh man, you over there, you need to put a ski mask on. You over here robbing, you stealing money. Because you already know how they go, Marcus.
So people,
right. And so
people start to treat you different.
Yeah, because you're not able to contribute to the team. You're injured. So if you in that training room,
At this point, what do you
like,
feel like?
yeah.
What do you feel like? You get there, you get hurt. People treat you different. You can't do what you want to do. How do you feel at this point?
Like I'm not enough.
You're not enough. You just low, right? You just low, like nothing.
I ain't gonna lie, Prince. I was there too, bro. I was there too. Because in the NFL it's like a short window. So I don't want to cut you off, but keep going, my guy.
No, it's just like I'm not enough, man. Like
So how long?
I got
How
all
long
these
were you at
skills.
this point? How long were you in this point of feeling like you weren't enough?
So it happened my third year, my contract year, and so after the injury, like I had a choice either to get surgery or play through the season.
Ooh.
And so I chose to get the surgery. They were like, I remember calling my agent, and I was just like, man, he was just like, dang, he was cursing, and he's like. I was just like, man, my shoulder is killing me, and so it was like he didn't even hear it. He was just like, well, you sure you can't go? You sure you can't play this year? It's your contract year. And then he was just like, well, look, this is what. And then he was like, this is what we're gonna do. He said, we'll give it 48 hours, and then after that, like we'll make the decision. Like, man, like this your year. And I'm saying to myself, like, why is my okay? I'm at this time. I've been practicing meditation. I just came back from the monastery, so when I was spent my time at the monastery right before the season began, and I was I just knew because when I went into summer camp, man, I'm talking about water breaks. It was hot outside. I didn't even take no water breaks. I was in tip top shape. I was hydrated. I didn't talk about. I didn't talk to nobody, and I get injured. So the mindset was like, oh man, I'm not enough. I'm not able to contribute. And then it got to a point where I started threatening other players because, they were teasing. And so I was just like, look, you ready to tease? I come up here and shoot this whole thing up, man. I was like, I kill all y'all and myself. I was like, I do not have a problem. I said, none of y'all scare me. I was like, y'all don't know who y'all talking to. So, it got to a point where I just started getting extremely angry and I was just ready to blow because I couldn't do.
How did you cope with that though? That feeling of, how did you cope with that if you're not deep enough into meditation yet, and you're sitting there and you feeling this way? It's almost like I've experienced it. You're not there. You can
Right.
look at things. You can go look at yourself. You can probably look at pictures and videos and tell like you're not there. How did you get that self from that point? Because I was listening to you early on. You said when your coach told me, was that your freshman year? Because I know what you've achieved now. How did you
Right.
cope and realize and look at yourself to get you from being that low to what you have succeeded in now, your book, and like everything you're
So
doing?
wait, so even before that, because at the end of the day, too, like before that, like there was a moment that he ain't even like talk about yet. I think because there was a period in that point in time, because you talked about like you was like, oh, I'm gonna shoot this. Like you was getting mad at them, but there was a moment in time where you had a real low moment where it was either you, the gun, or I remember this story. I want you to expound on that a little bit too, to give the viewers the rundown on how it happened and then where you are now too.
Yeah, so so after all this happened, and so first, how did I cope with it? I distanced myself. That's how I cope with it. Like I needed to create separation because, like, like I have when I did my rehab, when I did my surgery and I did my rehab, I did that all at Georgia Tech. I went back to a place where I felt accepted. And I didn't want to go back to the Ravens. I barely even show my face, because every time I would go there, it was always a reminder that I'm not contributing, I'm not enough. So you just over here stealing money. And I needed a counselor. I needed somebody that I could talk to, but I wasn't able to. And so for me, since I stayed at G Tech, they brought in another running back. And when I was just like, all right, I'm ready, y'all. They was just like, we're gonna go in a different direction. I was like, what you mean different direction? I was like, I'm ready. I was just like, I had to rehab myself. I'm good to go. And see, I never opened up and told anybody what I was going through because that wasn't the way. That's not what you taught. You're not taught to open yourself up, especially in the league. And with so many things moving. Like as a young male, you're not gonna open up to somebody and talk to them like what you going through, how you feeling. I was gonna eat it and shoulder it, right? And so, so fast forward, I get released by the Ravens, and I was in disbelief, man. So I'm just kind of like moping and dragging, like what's the next step? I'm calling my agent. He's like, damn, man, blah 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 blah, whatever else, and then I get a workout with the Buffalo Bills. But I wasn't in shape. I was trying to do everything. Every time I would run full speed, I try to jog back. I'm gasping for air, so I'm doing myself a disservice. I could have been walking back. I didn't know. I was trying to do everything to prove myself. And so the Buffalo Bills, they were just like, no, we're gonna pass. And so I went home and I started working out. I worked out religiously every day. I've never worked out for 365 days ever in my life. But this day I worked out 365 days from Monday through Sunday. And let's do it again. Hoping that somebody would give me a phone call. Nobody called me. So after that year, I was just like, damn, who am I? Where am I? Like,
Wow.
Damn. I got all these skills, but I can't even apply it.
Yeah.
So then I suffered a self-identity crisis because I'm like, I'm not no football player no more, and I'm not about to get on nobody's stage. And people was like, you should go to
Hey, bro.
CFL. I was like, CFL. I was like, CD's zets. I was just like, I ain't going to
For
no
real
CFL.
though. That's real.
And I'm just like, man, no, that's not me. I was like, I'm great. I could be in a league. I should be on somebody's team. So that self-identity crisis led to a depression. I started getting real depressed, like, God dang, like, what's going on with me? And then from depression led to I started hating myself. Like every single day. Like, you lost your job, you didn't let yourself down. I get around my peers from high school, like, what's good, man? Like, what happened? You still in the league, dog? What happened? I'm just
That'd be the
like,
worst
damn,
question
man.
you could possibly ask.
Ooh, man, right? And so, my ego tore up. I'm messed up, man. And so, like I said, distancing myself, so it got to a point where I just really started hating myself, and from that point on, I put together a 3-day plan on how I was gonna kill myself, and so I started going through the plan. So I would be I would
Hold
go
on, bro.
home,
That's
and
heavy.
I
That is heavy. Now keep going. That's
yeah.
heavy though.
Yeah. So I had just bought a gun not too long ago. I bought a shotty, a Mossberg shotgun, and so so basically my 3-day plan was, first day was practice pulling the trigger on yourself, and so that's all I did. Click, click, that's how it's gonna feel. Like, yeah, that's it right there, P. Click, you know. And after I did that the first day, and I put the gun up, I was like, okay, that's how it feels to pull the trigger on yourself. Okay, cool. I'm just like, and then now in my head I was just like, all right, so get ready. I was like, your brain is gonna blow out, through the back of your head. So like we can live with that. We good. And then it was just like, shit, I'm about to kill myself. Like, shit, I'm really about to do this shit. Yeah, like, yeah, I'm like, yeah. Excuse my language, but I was in it. I bought into it. It's like playing ball. You got to believe you're gonna be that player. So I'm believing that I'm about to kill myself. So as I'm there, day 2 come, and when day 2 come, I'm doing the same mechanics, but this time I got the bullets scattered out. I just want to see them. So it brought in another level of like fear and confidence at the same time. And I was just like, dang, like I'm about to go through this, like, and so instead of me cowarding away, I was like, I'm embrace it, like, yeah, I'm about to go through this, like, it's cool, so I did that the second day, man, and so, on the third day, I haven't even told nobody this. On the third day, I called people, and I talked to like 7 people, 7 different individuals, and called one of my team, my old teammates, hello to Nata, and he was like, "What's up, man? How you doing, bro? I miss you, man. I love you, man. Hope you're doing well." And that was the first time that I felt excited. But once he said he had to go and get back to practice, man, my excitement went down real quick, and I was just like, man, you're not enough. You done lost your job. You let everybody down. Like, you ain't the person that you say you are. You got imposter syndrome. All of these things, man. And so I called the 7th individual, and the 7th individual was the monk at the monastery, because I had been going to a monastery, but that was I for whatever reason I confided in him.
This is the meditation work that you're talking about now. This is how you got into it, right?
Yeah, so I got into the meditation work early on. Like, my uncles, I had 2 uncles that would go to a monastery, and they come back, they would have like this little glow. Right. I was just like, what is that? I was like, I want that. So I had been exposed to it and saw it early on at a young age, but I just never knew, what the monastery life was about. And plus, I would see like all these kung fu movies, and like Kung Fu Panda, Kung Fu Hustle, The Last Avatar, The Last Airbender. And I would watch these movies and, Dragon Ball Z and these cartoons. And I would be like, man, like, you know, I'll be looking at my friends when I'm watching them, like, y'all not feeling this? Like, you hear what they say? Like,
Yo,
they
we got,
spit
hey, that's a
knowledge,
bar.
dog. Like,
We got to use that.
you know,
yeah.
like, I'm looking at them like, y'all just seeing it as a cartoon, but do you hear what they saying? I was just like, for whatever reason, it's resonating with me. For whatever reason, you know, like, just always thought that I could, like, that there was another level. So, so fast forward, so third day, I called the guru at the monastery, and I told him what was going on. It's like I'm about to commit suicide. You know, I don't like who I am and what I'm going through. I let this down, let this down, I let this person down, I let myself down. Like, you know, like,
Before you
I'm
continue,
done with life.
Before you continue though, you're saying you let all these people down. Have you ever thought about it as you reached a dream already? Because I remember what you said. You told your mom you were going to the NFL. You did get there though. You still did a lot.
Right.
What got you to? Have you understood that yet?
At that point.
Oh yeah.
That you're
I understand.
still
yeah. No, not at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, not at that point. I didn't understand it. I was just like, no, because you got to understand that as an athlete, as a competitor, like you got, like making it to the league is one thing, but then, you know, excelling in the league is another thing. And so every time I would get my opportunity, something would happen, like right before, you know, because I didn't understand. All I knew was work hard. I didn't understand how to gear things down. I didn't understand, you know, like everything for me was just go. Like, let's go. You know, and I'll go until my arm fall off. I'll go until I pass out. I'll go until my leg fall off, right? And so and I wasn't really taking care of myself. I didn't really know how to take care of myself. At that time, you know, like the tools that the younger generation has now was completely different. Like, you didn't have nobody telling you how to do things. You didn't have no app telling you what you can do to take care of your body. You didn't really have all that, man. So, you know, I had to learn it on my own and do everything kind of like the old way. And so, I didn't understand, you know, at the time that I made it to the league and I should be proud of myself. Like, no, I had ambitions and I didn't fulfill those desires and that ambition. So now I'm just looking at myself like, you're a failure, right? You're a failure. You didn't get a chance to score a touchdown in the league. Man, it was just so many things. I scored a touchdown in preseason, but I didn't get a chance to score a touchdown during the game. Like, you know, it was just, it's a lot. It was a lot. And so as I am trying to come to terms with myself, I'm talking on the phone, and I told the guru what I was about to do, and it was like a moment of silence for like 5 to 10 seconds. After I told him, you know, I was just like, you know, I'm about to kill myself. Like, I'm done with this. Like, I done lost my job. I lost my career. I don't know who I am. I'm just messed up. And it was like silence for 5 to 10 seconds. And he was like, "Are you done?" And for the first time, I was so tense, and I just remember everything just relaxing. I was like, "What? Am I done?" I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Yeah, I guess so." And he was just like, "Meditate, Ak," and hung up the phone. Like, boom! I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "How this gonna help me? How is meditation gonna help me? How is meditation going to help me?" So by that time, I was furious. I got up, boom, from the table, walked into my room. I was like, meditate. I was like, he done lost his goddamn old mind, right? And so to the right is my closet where the gun is. Because on the third day, that morning, I loaded up my gun. I loaded my gun that third morning. I was like, we about to get this popping today. I just put one bullet up in there, and I was just like, yeah, I didn't even try to write my mom no note or anything. I was like, she's just gonna have to find my brains splattered everywhere. So as I walk into my room, you know, I look to the left, and I got like my little meditation area set up over there. And for whatever reason, it was like a little beam of light just shining on my goddamn meditation area, my little meditation pillow. I'm like, hell no, God, what you doing? You tripping, man. Like, you know, I ain't trying to find no miracles right now. Like,
you trying to proceed to do what you gonna do, man. You trying to get there.
Go through I'm trying to get there. I'm just like,
So
man,
you
I'm
about
done
to
with this
sit,
life.
you
Like,
about to sit down basically and meditate and not get
yeah.
out of this position till you have, you know, some not
So,
resistance, but till
so
you get where you want to be.
some calling, some miracles, some clarity, whatever. So, I choose to, I said, you know what? All right, this is what I'll do. I said, I'll give myself 1 hour and I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to sit down for the whole 1 hour. And if this meditation stuff don't work, I was just like, I'm just going to go ahead and blow my brains out. And so I sat down for that 1 hour, man. And that was like one of my toughest meditations that I ever had, because I was struggling with sitting still, leaning one way, couldn't support myself, my hips hurting, my legs hurting, like everything on me was hurting. I was sweating very bad. Like my mental was all messed up. My psyche was messed up. I didn't want to sit with myself because it was just so many things going on in my head, and I just felt embarrassed, but I had to sit through the embarrassment. I felt ashamed, I had to sit through being ashamed of myself. I just had to sit with myself. And I realized at that moment, I was just like, I was telling myself, I don't like you, you horrible, you're a failure, right? And then it was a moment of silence. Like at the end of the meditation, like right before the bell went off, it was a moment of silence. And I went off into my head, because at this time, like I kept saying, sit through the meditation, because it was so much pain, physically, emotionally, mentally, it was just so much pain that I was experiencing. And at the end, I was just like, man, God, just let me sit through. And then all of a sudden, man, my legs just fell to the ground. The knees, outside of my knees, just hit the ground. Boom. And when that happened, it was just like my energy from my body just shot up into my head. And I was just like, whoa, it was quiet. It was so quiet, you couldn't even hear a pin drop.
So meditation brought you back to life, brother. That's what you're saying.
It brought me back to life. It was a moment where it was a voice. It was just like, what you doing? And I was just like, man, I'm about to kill myself. It just asked me that 3 times. And on the 3rd time, I had a realization. It was just like, what you doing? Just like, I'm about to kill myself. I'm like, whoa. And then the bell went off. Ding, ding. And so it just sucked me out of that space that I was in. And then all of a sudden, I was just like, what was that? I was like, what was that? And so tears started streaming down my face, and I was just like, what was that? And so I realized, like, dang, like you got to get beyond your surface level. You got to sit through all your trauma. You got to see yourself. You got to understand, that stuff that happened, it happened, but you don't get caught up in the story that you keep telling yourself, that you're not enough, that you're not this. And so from that moment, I started telling myself that I am enough. I'm amazing. I'm incredible. I am this, and I started loving myself more, and I started beating up on myself, and just start being proud of who I am as an individual and what I've accomplished. And so that led to me writing my book. That led to me, spending time at the monastery and just understanding myself and loving myself. And now I do that for everybody else in the world, man.
Wow. Yo, that was heavy. And I feel like a lot of people needed to hear that. Really did, man, because the way you broke it down and you talked about it, I think that was very, very profound and important, the way you just did that. And I wanna commend you, my black brother, for being able to speak on that and talk about that, because we don't do that, man. We don't do it at all, and
Right.
we're not vulnerable enough, or we don't have it to do, man, because that's not what we've been taught. So I want to commend you, brother, on telling your story. And before we get done and wrap this thing up, I want to highlight some of the things that you're doing now. And we talked a little bit about like your coaching services, your membership packages, and just the ultimate way to bring the athlete back. Do you want to talk about that a little bit before we go?
Yeah, most definitely, man. One of the things is, my book that's in the background, it's a cover of my book called Mindfulness for the Ultimate Athlete, Mastering the Balance Between Power and Peace. Man, go and check that out, man. That's a tool that helps every player, whether they're a rookie, whether they're playing, whether they're retired. It helps in every facet of their life and every facet of their career. Just something that all athletes need, and even everybody in life, because we're all athletes of life. that's one. Go check out the book too, man. My coaching services, I do one-on-one coaching with professional athletes and high achievers, and that's all under the category of entertainers, entrepreneurs, just high level executives, like all of the above. I work with every individual that you can possibly think of. And I just help them in terms of strategic mindset, character building, resilience building as well. And also, when it comes to my membership, I have a membership where I teach people. They join me for meditation. We meditate from Monday to Friday. That's what the membership offers. Meditate from Monday through Friday. And that's from anywhere between 5 to 45 minutes. So you can choose, but I'll be there for 45 minutes and you can get there 5 minutes. I have people that do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 20, whatever, and they get off. And then every month we have a Q&A session where it's between 90 to 2 hours and 2 hours and 30 minutes where we just talk about life and we talk about, the mental struggles that people have and how they can experience a breakthrough and a transformation. So I'm in the business of transformation and helping people transform themselves and transcend above, all the mundane and just get out of their own way, man. And not allow for their past to be in their future, but learn how to be in the present and find the love and the appreciation and the gratitude that you have for being created. We are made in the image of the Creator, and so we are creators. And so when you really understand that, then you tap into what I call your energy, your INNER capital G. Your energy, your inner greatness, your inner genius, your inner God, your inner goddess, your inner gift, your inner gut. All right, like your intuition. So once you're able to tap into that, man, you can do all the incredible things that you ever imagined, and you can manifest what you want because it's in your being. It's just nobody has taught us to look within, and so like I'm screaming it out loud, letting everybody know, look. I'm the dude that's going to tell you to look within. Like, okay, I'm going to tell you my name is Prince. So know that whenever you work with me, you're going to get that royal treatment. That's what the membership is called, the royal membership. So you're going to get that royal package, that regal package. You're going to be majestic in everything that you do. You're going to always sit up with confidence and know how to carry yourself, because that was what was given to you. And so since it's being channeled through me and I'm an instrument, I'm gonna make sure that I shout it out loud, and I'm proud to do it because, on the other end of the spectrum, you got condescending words, female dogs, right? Hoes, all of it, so drugs, this, shooting, doing that, on the other end, on this end, I'm shooting on all this positivity, and I don't care who don't like it. I'm just gonna keep on going because I know that I am love, and I'm light. And so I'm in
that's
light,
what this
and
is
I'm
about.
meant to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, bro. That's what this is about, man. This is about that, man. So, man, there you have it. We heard the story. The story was big.
Yeah.
It's gonna transcend through a lot of people. And if you didn't catch it, when he was meditating, there was a lot of battles that he had to go across, even meditating, and he got through those battles. And he shows up with that even in life, man. So I appreciate you coming on. We have Prince Daniels Jr. I have my good guy with me, Dondre Eccles. This is the Circle of M podcast with Marcus Smith, and we are out.